Hello horror movie lovers, I'm Trenton and I love movies just like you, obviously. So I watched Annabelle Creation because people always say that I'm pretty like Annabelle, so why not watch my inferior counterpart be created? Oh my. My expectations were quite low. I mean, I already have a video on the first Annabelle movie, so if you want to know my thoughts on that one, go check it out. But the fact that I'm even pointing that out is kind of self-explanatory of why my expectations were low for this movie. Also, I'm not really a huge fan of prequels. There are some that I do enjoy, but for the most part as a whole, I tend to not really like them. But did the movie meet my expectations? It exceeded them. I actually liked this movie for the most part more than I was expecting.
So everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Several years after the tragic death of their little girl, a dollmaker and his wife welcome a nun and several girls from a shuttered orphanage into their home, soon becoming the target of the dollmaker's possessed creation, Annabelle. The first half of this video will be spoiler free, then the last half will contain spoilers. Don't worry, I will give you a warning before we enter spoiler territory. When it comes to the characters, to be honest, I thought they were all just okay. They were all pretty one-dimensional and didn't really seem like they had much going on. I definitely don't have a favorite. The story is different yet familiar to the previous movies, your run-of-the-mill haunted house story, but instead of a family with too many kids getting terrorized by an evil entity, it's an orphanage with too many kids getting terrorized by an evil entity. Someone give these kids a safe home without evil shit trying to kill them? Gosh. The story was fine. I've come to the conclusion that the Conjuring universe movies are the same movies but in different fonts. The only difference this movie has compared to the others is that there's a cripple. Every other aspect of the story is pretty much the same. The same can be said about the writing, same movie, different font, blatantly obvious jump scare setup, stupid decisions being made by the characters, though I guess I can excuse a good chunk of them due to majority of the characters being children, but the movie still felt like rinse and repeat. The cinematography was good, though again, still repetitive for the most part. It's just the same. What else is there to even say? The cinematography in the previous movies in the universe, besides one, are also good. Cinematography is really never the problem that these movies have. The writing in these movies is where the problems normally lie. The effects were great for the most part. This might be the most graphic movie in the Conjuring universe from my understanding based off the first 3 to 4 films, which isn't really saying much because these movies never fully go there when it comes to gore or kills, but when they do appear in the movies, it's so effective and jarring. Some moments are quite VFX heavy in this movie and are definitely noticeable, but just the fact that they wanted to add graphic moments like these that weren't present in the previous movies and wanted to actually have some death or gore related shock value and not just jump scares, I really appreciated. The tone is dark. It was certainly dark, just right off the bat. Like, oh, that's unfortunate. Obviously, these movies tend to deal with dark and depressing subject matter, but the movie still has the same problem that the previous movies in the universe have, though the stakes actually did feel higher in this movie compared to the previous ones, which I also appreciated as well and was refreshing, even though, you know, I'll specify in the spoiler section again. The pacing is, once again, quite slow. The movie is around an hour 50 minutes, and you definitely feel the runtime. Did the movie feel like the longest movie in the Conjuring universe? No, but it still felt long and felt like at least 10, possibly even 15 minutes could have been trimmed from the movie. The life lesson that I learned after watching Annabelle Creation was that you should never have children. Overall, the movie wasn't bad, definitely a major improvement from Annabelle 2014, though still having the same flaws that every Conjuring universe movie so far tends to have. I'm gonna have to give Annabelle Creation a 6.5 out of 10. We are now entering spoiler territory. If you haven't seen Annabelle Creation, watch it, then come back to the video, or if you simply don't care about spoilers, keep on watching. In this portion of the video, I break down the movie, go more in depth with my likes and dislikes, as well as my favorite scene, favorite kill, and least favorite kill. Again, we are now entering spoiler territory. A dollmaker named Samuel Mullins and his wife Esther grieve for the loss of their 7-year-old daughter, Annabelle, nicknamed B, who dies when she accidentally stepped in front of a car. Oh, starting off strong. 12 years later, the Mullins opened their home to provide shelter for sister Charlotte and 6 kids left homeless by the closing of their orphanage. Despite having been warned to avoid B's locked bedroom, Janice, a young orphan disabled by polio, discovers a note saying "Find me" and sneaks into the room, which has mysteriously become unlocked. She finds a key for B's closet and opens it, where she sees an eerie porcelain doll. This unwittingly releases a powerful demon that begins to terrorize the girls. Here we go again. Not listening to what anybody says, but if she did, none of this would have happened. 12 years of peace and a random girl just accidentally unleashes the demon, disrupting their peace once again. That's great. One night, the demon, taking Bee's form, appears to Janice, saying that it wants her soul. Although she attempts to get away using a stair lift, the demon recalls the stair lift and hurls her violently down to the ground floor, leaving her severely injured and confined to a wheelchair. With Janice now confined to the first floor, her best friend Linda is now having to sleep alone and is tormented by the demon. The whole stair lift scene was so damn frustrating. Like, what the are you doing? After the breakdown, I'll explain. One morning, the demon posing as Sister Charlotte wheels Janice into the old barn, where in the form of Bee, it attacks and possesses her after throwing up black bile directly into Janice's mouth. Linda notices changes in Janice's behavior and tells Samuel that Janice snuck into Bee's room and found the doll. Samuel immediately believes Linda and heads inside, where he comes across Janice, who can now walk. Janice transforms into the demon and brutally kills Samuel, who follows her while holding a crucifix, forcing him to drop it after breaking his fingers backwards one by one. Outside, Sister Charlotte hears his screams and is horrified to find him dead on the floor. First of all, Linda is a snitch and shouldn't be trusted. Don't be telling him my business. The fact that they still even decide to stay in the house after finding Samuel's body on the ground is insane. Are we just going to ignore the fact that all of his fingers were broken with a cross near his body? Does this look like a natural death to you, sister? That evening, Linda takes Janice's doll and throws it into the well. A strange noise comes from the well and she's almost dragged into it, but Sister Charlotte saves her. Upon returning inside to find Janice gone from the couch, Sister Charlotte wakes the orphans, who go look for her as an alarmed Sister Charlotte speaks with the disfigured Esther, who is confined to her bedroom. Esther reveals that after Bee's death, they prayed to whatever entity would grant their wish to see their daughter again. An unknown entity answered their prayer, and though they briefly saw Bee's spirit, the entity convinced them to transfer its essence into one of Samuel's crafted dolls. They happily agreed, but soon realized that they attracted a demon looking for a human host. One night, Esther saw Bee's spirit transforming into the demon, which then gouged her eye out and resulted in her wearing a half doll-like mask to conceal her injury and the scars. Enlisting the help of priests to bless the house, they locked the doll in Bee's closet. Esther and Samuel opened their house as a shelter to orphan children to repent for their actions, but Esther now regrets it since she has provided an opportunity for the demon to look for a human host. The demon then murders Esther and attacks Sister Charlotte. While some of the orphans are able to leave the house, Linda is trapped and hides in Bee's room as the possessed Janet tries to stab her, but Sister Charlotte locks Janice and the doll inside the closet. The way this demon is so damn manipulative and sinister could easily kill the two adults, but not any of the orphans. It needs to be fired ASAP. It's terrible at its job. What am I paying you for? The next day, police arrive to search the house and find only the doll, which they remove as evidence, but not before a priest blesses the home. Sister Charlotte, Linda, and the orphans are escorted away by officers to find another new home for the orphans. While Janice escapes through a hole in the closet wall and relocates to an orphanage in Santa Monica, still possessed, she becomes reclusive and calls herself Annabelle. Pete and Sharon Higgins soon adopt Annabelle. 12 years later, after being involved in devil worship, a grown-up Annabelle returns home and murders her adoptive parents, awakening Mia, who warned John about Sharon Higgins' screams. Then the movie ends. Okay, full circle moment. I actually really like that. The whole scene on the stair lift was so frustrating. You really would rather go on that slow-ass stair lift that'll get you down the stairs at a snail's pace while the demon is after you? Girl, I would have hurled myself down the stairs. Quick, fast, effective, and why wasn't she constantly screaming? Surely if she was constantly screaming, the others in the house would have heard and came to the rescue before she got launched, but no. Let's just keep our voices down because I don't want to wake the others. Once again, all the children lived, unfortunately. I will say that the ending was more on the bleak side, which I did like, but if they just went there and at least killed a couple of the orphan children, I would have enjoyed the movie more and rated the movie higher, but these movies always hold themselves back and it's annoying. Samuel's encounter with the demon was interesting. The finger snapping looked quite questionable, but his death as a whole was pretty underwhelming. Esther ripped in half and pinned to the wall in her bedroom was insane. That completely caught me off guard. I can't think of any other moment in the previous Conjuring universe movies that was as graphic as that. Like, that was amazing. My favorite scene would have to be the scarecrow in the shed. Not gonna lie, I was pretty worried for her. I don't even remember her name and didn't even like her, but that shit, woo, instant heart attack if I was in that situation. My least favorite scene would probably have to be the stair lift scene. The scene wasn't necessarily bad, but I found it to be so unbelievable. My favorite kill would obviously be Esther ripped in half half and pinned to the wall. Literally none of the deaths in the movie are on screen, but just the aftermath of that one specifically was shocking and great. My least favorite kill would have to be the little girl getting hit by the car. Yes, it was shocking, but it was completely off screen and there wasn't an aftermath, while the other deaths did have at least an aftermath. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos from me, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, horror movie lovers, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.